What is going on, my peeps? Welcome back to this week's brand new BuzzFeed test. Now, if you just found me recently, or even today or yesterday, you came at a pretty darn good time because I am officially or unofficially declaring this week as Cheese Week. Today, we have two different mac and cheese recipes, one from Terry Crews, the other from Lawrence Page, both off of Tasty's YouTube channel, of course, and I'm pitting them head to head in a classic old Buzzfeed Versus. And to top that all off, this Sunday I'm coming out with a cheese-related DIY. It has been one of the most time-consuming, frustrating DIYs I've ever done. Been working on it for weeks, but it's almost there, and I think it's gonna be perfect really soon. But anyways, back to this video. Thank you to everyone who has suggested each one of these videos the past few months that they've been out. Let's get right into the first one. Now, as good as both of these videos look, I do have my guess as to which one's gonna come out the best. I'm not gonna spoil it for you though. What I will tell you though is Lawrence Page, you're up first. What you're gonna need to grab for his recipe is some elbow macaroni, evaporated milk, mozzarella cheese, a stick of butter, a ton of sharp cheddar cheese, some feta cheese, a few eggs, salt and pepper, Gouda cheese, and I couldn't find a block of provolone cheese, so I got some slices. Don't kill me. Now, if you're a viewer out there with half a brain cell, I'm sure you can assume what the first step is gonna be. You gotta boil up some water, let pasta do what pasta does. Of course, add a little salt to season the water and blah blah blah. And let that finish off cooking while we start working on all of our cheeses. First, I'm gonna be working on this block of cheddar. You're gonna need 2 cups in total for this recipe, so I've divided half of this block and then into quarters and shredded it up the best that I could. Once I completely worked through that, I began to work on the Gouda and the mozzarella. Both of these came in similar blocks, both of which I also need 1 cup of. I then quickly measured out 2 tablespoons of feta cheese, and to finish all of it off, I grabbed a few slices of that provolone cheese and tried to thinly slice it so it kind of looked like it came from a shredded block or something. And you're gonna need a cup of that as well. And that, my friends, is pretty much all you need to do to prep for this recipe. I grabbed my cooked and strained pasta and threw it in a nice big bowl. I then added in an entire stick of softened butter. Would you like some macaroni with that butter, sir? I then just sprinkled in some salt along with some black pepper. And now it is time for the star of the show, all of our cheeses. First, I threw in half of our cheddar cheese, so that's 1 cup. I then topped that with 1 cup of the provolone cheese, the Gouda that we shredded up earlier, the mozzarella cheese, and then, of course, the feta. I gave that a quick little toss just to let the cheese begin to incorporate. Then topped on 3 whole eggs and slowly added in that whole can of evaporated milk. I did notice that in the video his cheese kind of melted as he was doing this, but I think I let my pasta cool down for too long. I don't think that'll give us too much of a problem though, so once I got that whole can of evaporated milk in, you just have to lay that out into a oven-safe glass pan, top that with the rest of that cheddar cheese, and then into a 350 oven for 40 minutes. Coming out, this thing looked absolutely beautiful. The cheese was perfectly browned and bubbly. It's looking pretty much like the video, except I did notice it's not as like gooey and saucy as the video was, but let's give it a try. So, Mr. Lawrence Page, I have some high expectations for you. Number 1, because you are a professional chef that has appeared on TV a lot. And number 2, because I spent close to $30 on the cheese alone for this macaroni. So, cheers. Can I cheese the macaroni to you? Here, open up, open wide. Let the choo-choo train. Oh no, I got on my lens. All right, I think you guys are good. Let's do this. I am most certainly a fan of this one. The flavor is fantastic. I do want to mention I didn't add as much salt as they said, and it came out pretty good. Like, it doesn't need 2 teaspoons, I don't think, ever. Like I said though, it's not nearly as runny and saucy as it looked in the video. I don't know if they like changed something after, but it is really tasty, and I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10. Next up to the plate today, we have Mr. Terry Crews and his mac and Jeezy. And since we already have pasta boiled and some cheddar cheese left over from the last one, the prep for this is gonna be even more straightforward. I started by measuring out 8 ounces of sour cream, which is pretty much just a cup. I leveled the cup off, I set it to the side, and then began to measure out 2 cups of some small curd cottage cheese. I've never been the biggest fan of cottage cheese, mainly because it does closely resemble something I have a bit of a history with, but today I'll let it slide. It's gonna be cooked anyway. And once I had that measured out, I tossed it in a bigger bowl along with that cup of sour cream. I did grab a quick egg also and just gave that like a heavy beating, like 90% of the YouTube community did to Jake Paul. And then added that into our mix along with some salt and mixed that all together. 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese can be thrown on top of that, and then a half package of boiled elbow pasta. I do want to stress that this is going to be essentially half of the amount of macaroni and cheese that we made in the previous one. That's why there is such less cheese. Not sure why they did it like this, but we're rolling with it. I got that mixed up. And then this time, since he used coconut oil to coat the bottom of the pan, I can't have coconuts, I'm sorry, I'm allergic, sue me. I just used a stick of butter to rub along the bottom and the sides to try to imitate the same thing he had. I know it's gonna come out horrible, list your comments, I'll be waiting. And then just toss down our macaroni and cheese mix, a bunch of more shredded cheddar cheese, and then a nice light sprinkle of paprika over the top. In the same temperature oven for the same amount of time, this thing came out looking just as good as the last one. This is gonna be a close race, so let's give it a try. So here we have recipe number 2 from Mr. Terry Crews. I do like how they added paprika on the top. I've never had paprika on macaroni and cheese before, but it's a neat idea. I am low-key a little scared about how many cottage cheese curds I see along throughout this. But we'll see. Maybe it'll blend in with the other cheeses and stuff. I can't be biased here. Here, you want some? Actually, no, I'm not dirtying my camera again. I don't know what that face is. I don't love it because literally 90% of what you taste is the cottage cheese. Ironically enough, I like the texture of this one a little bit more than the last one, but the taste is just, it's overwhelmingly cottage cheese. Maybe if you like toned back on that a little bit. The paprika on the top definitely gives the top an upgrade though, but besides all that, it's pretty much the same, so I'll give it a slight bump down. What did I give the last one? 8? I'll give this I feel like a 7 is too high. I'll give it a 6.5. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. If you did, smash that like button. Can we get 6,000 likes? I don't know the last time we've hit that, but let's try to get it on this one. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, the links are in the description as always. Leave me a comment on what you want to see me try next. And other than that, I will see you on Sunday. I cannot wait for this video to go up. It has been a long time coming. Other than that, have an awesome rest of your week. Peace!